live here. Good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Good morning. All right, guys, welcome to our webinar. As you guys are tuning in, let's just say, let us know or let me know where you're tuning in from. All right, welcome, guys. I know this was a special last minute setup here because I wanted to share some great value with you guys. I'm going to be doing this as much as I can in between the pockets of time that I have. But I want to help you explode your businesses. We're closing off here another record month in Emirates. So congratulations to all of our brand ambassadors. The growth that we're seeing is truly exciting. So whether you are just getting started with our company or if you've been around for a while, plugging in and getting the information that you need to win in today's world is super critical. All right. And so I'm going to be doing what I'll call a CEO Power Hour from every once in a while. All right. And I will be sharing that with you for you to be able to plug in with your teams and for you to be able to plug in personally. And friends, one of the things that you will find is that you want to be plugged into the power source. And that doesn't have to be one individual, but it does mean you need to plug into some power source in your business as an entrepreneur, whether you are selling cupcakes, whether you are selling insurance, whether you are selling air, whatever you're selling, there's a certain transference of energy that has to happen from you to the person you want to bring on board as a new customer, to bring on board as a new brand ambassador, distributor in your team. And that energy, there's certain types of people that generate energy. There's certain types of people that consume energy. Some of you guys know those people. You know, they call your phone. And the second you get that phone call from those people that drain energy, your battery just dies, just magically tends to die, right? So I'm assuming tonight that you're not one of those kinds of people that just takes energy, but it is important to provide energy into the marketplace. And if you want to increase your sales, you want to increase the recruiting, you want to increase any level of area in your business, it is critical that you improve your energy. And one of the fastest ways that you can do that is by plugging into an energy source. That means plugging into mentorship, plugging into training. Entrepreneurship is challenging. This is not an easy thing to do. To change your life is not going to happen overnight, but it will happen night after night. And it is important that you stay plugged in to a power source, to a resource that can allow you to think bigger, to dream bigger, and then to do bigger. Welcome, guys. We're getting started with our CEO Power Hour. For those of you joining us on Zoom, welcome, welcome, welcome. You want to be sharing this with your teams. If you're watching here on Instagram, hello, hello, hello. I'm excited to be sharing with you some concepts that I believe will help catapult your business forward. Now, one thing I need to tell everyone, I don't come here and I do not like spending my time. I don't like spending time. I like investing time. And so I'm not coming here today to just give you some of my time because that's spending it. I'm here to give it freely to you as an investment in you, not in me. An investment in you, not in me. Because I believe that the more people you can help in life, the more you'll be able to help yourself. And so anytime you have an opportunity to share with other people, you should do it freely. But at the same time, one of the things that tends to happen is a lot of people tend to take information that they see online on YouTube, on Instagram, at a training event or whatever the case may be, and they just treat it like entertainment. If you go to a concert, back in the day when we used to go to concerts, you might find yourself singing along to the music, all right? You were not the person on stage, or maybe you were, I don't know, all right? But you're listening to this performance, you're watching it, you're experiencing it with them, and then you go home back to your home, wherever that may be. And that moment, that experience impacts you for a certain period of time. But then you move on to the next thing. And then you move on to the next thing. And then you move on to the next thing. And so here today, when I'm talking to you about growing your business, exploding it in 2021, my goal is not to necessarily entertain you from the standpoint that you just sit back and absorb the information. My goal is to motivate you to move and to take action. Too many people become success librarians. They just have all the books of success. They can quote all the great quotes, or they go on social media and they focus on just capturing inspiring quotes. And for a minute, they get excited. For a moment, they get excited. But there's no transformation. There's no transformation. Just collecting information is going to turn you into a library. And I'm telling you, there are not millions of dollars that have been produced by libraries. There's only millions of dollars, billions of dollars that have been produced by execution. So your training tonight, this afternoon, this morning, has already begun. Y'all, I want you to take a quick inventory of yourself and ask yourself, how much time am I spending being entertained by the information that is actually supposed to transform? How much time am I spending being entertained by the information that is supposed to transform? Whether you're learning from myself or learning from a leader in the company, your upline, your support team, whatever it may be, whoever you are learning from, are you just leaving that interaction just excited for a moment, but not actually taking action? Friends, the world is driven by people that execute, not people that consume. People that execute. So ideas are everywhere. And I'm going to share with you some ideas on our training over the next hour, or less than an hour now, for the next 55 minutes. I'm going to share with you some concepts. But I'm not going to do that just to spend time with you. I'm making an investment in you, and I want to see you actually execute on these ideas. Execution runs the world. All right. So guys, if you're tuning in, if you can hear me okay, if you're excited to be here tuning in with me live, I want to see you in the chat. I want to see you throw the number 7 in the chat, letting me know that you're here, that you're ready to engage. You will find that the information I'm going to share with you is going to come quick. It's going to come fast. And I want you to capture it. So if you're ready to get locked in, if you're ready to be focused with me for the next 55 minutes or less, I want to see the number 7 coming through the chat. And I know that it is time for us to get started. All right. Hey, Michael, how are you doing? Hope Joburg is doing well this evening. You guys are dealing all right. Welcome, guys. I'm going to be talking to you about the power of execution during our power hour here. The power of execution. All right. As you're coming in, welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see the 7s tuning in. For those of you that are new to our company, we want to welcome you. We're excited that you have joined our movement and that a new season has entered into your life. But just being at the right place at the right time, friends, is not going to transform your life. You have to make the right decisions and to execute on the right path. And for those of you that are joining on Instagram or watching this later on, thank you so much for checking this out. I will be doing this more regularly, so make sure that you are tuning in. If you're wondering what the little noise in the background is, you hear Zazu is here, but she won't be doing much of the training today. Hopefully she won't be joining the conversation as much as she sometimes tries to. See, she wants to be part of the training. All right, I see the 7s coming through fast and furious. So let's talk about the power of execution. There are laws and principles to success that on your journey in this business you have to learn. Just like when you go to school to become, let's say, a doctor, to become an oncologist, to go out there and become a lawyer, to become a physician, or anything in life, there are certain things that you have to learn. Last night, we actually had my nephew over here at our place. It's his 18th birthday. And we were talking about college because he's getting ready to go to college. And he was asking me if there were some things that I would have done differently on my college experience. What would I have done? And it was a really interesting conversation that we had. And one of the things that I talked to him was the power of on-the-job training. Was actually, if I had gone back to college and done some things differently, I would have gotten internships a lot sooner. Guys, internships. This is a concept that I was talking to my nephew about last night, all right? And I was telling him, listen, find opportunities to learn 2 skills. One is to learn how to sell. That's the first thing. Second one is to learn how to use technology. First one, learn how to sell. Second one, learn how to use technology to help you to sell. And you can find internships. And so we were talking about the different degrees and the different things that he was interested in and wanting to learn. I said, at the end of the day, man, enjoy it, have a lot of fun, but there's 2 skills you have to learn. Number 1, how to sell. Number 2, how to use technology. And today I want to talk to you guys about the power of execution, but focusing around the skill set of selling. All right? In case you are unaware, maybe you've been living under a rock for the last year, the world has gotten turned upside down by a little virus that has gotten very big called COVID-19. In the beginning, I was one of those guys who was saying, I don't want to wear a mask. I didn't want, my wife was one of the first people to recognize that there are some huge challenges coming our way. And so we started quarantining at home, started wearing masks when we go out. And started to realize that there was really something to this. And for the past 12 months, we have seen family member, friends, close colleagues of ours be impacted directly by the virus. And so tonight, if you're tuning in, I'm definitely not going to be telling you that this is something that is an easy situation. I'm not going to act like what has been going on in the world is an easy thing to get through. I'm not going to lie to you guys about that. It has been a challenging 12 months. But at the same time, without challenge, there are no change. Without challenge, there are no changes that can happen. And so in this moment, in this season, when the world has been turned upside down, there is wealth that has been created at a higher level and at a faster pace than ever before. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's happened on Wall Street with hedge funds that have been doing something that they thought they were going to use some principles that they had been using for the longest time to enrich themselves. And a band of Reddit investors decided to do a short squeeze on them and transferred a lot of the wealth that has been typically going towards hedge funds back into their own pockets. Friends, if you are not paying attention to what is happening in the world right now, there is a significant shift, and I believe that the world will never be the same. We're experiencing a once in 100-year moment. In fact, this generation, because of the challenges facing, but because of the technology and the ability for us to actually create in this moment, is going to create unprecedented wealth and prosperity for those that are willing to seize it instead of for those that are willing to state about it. You can go anywhere and find so many people just talking about, oh, these are challenging times and this, that, and the third. Friends, you never change a situation simply by talking about it. You don't get better. You don't make more money simply by talking about the lack of money that you have. I want you to catch that. You do not increase certain areas in your life just by talking about the balance in your life, all right? Now, it's important to pay attention in order to increase things. But to dwell on the lack of things never makes an increase in those things. For some of you, that was something that maybe went over your head. I want you to catch that. You do not increase areas in your life simply by focusing on the decrease that's in your life. You want to make more money, and all you focus on is end of the month. All you're getting is debit orders, and you're starting to get frustrated about the lack of money, the lack of resources in your life, and you start to just focus on that. Guess what? That's all you're going to see. Because what we focus on increases. Did you guys catch that? What you focus on increases. And so if you focus on the fact that, okay, these are challenging times and that's all you focus on, guess what? That defines your life's experience. Have you ever been at a party? Back in the day when we used to have parties, all right? And when I was in the entertainment business, this was a daily, nightly experience for myself and for my cousin Ruben. We would be out in the nightlife scene in Atlanta, Georgia, trying to network. And I would have all my athletes coming out and getting VIP and all this kind of stuff. And it was interesting. You would think that because the word party, that everybody at the party would be excited, that everybody in the room would be fired up, that everybody in the room would be dancing, having a good time. I have been to so many parties and I've never seen more people depressed than at parties. So in one environment that is designed to actually make you or stimulate your mind and make you feel better, you're always going to find people that aren't having a good time. But you'll also go to that same environment and find people that are having an amazing time, having the best time of their life. What am I saying to you? That it's not the situation that dictates how you feel. It's not the situation that dictates how you experience life. It is your own choice of emotions. You can be in a negative situation having an incredible day. It's not the blowing of the wind, like Jim Rohn talks about, but the set of the sail that determines your destination. And so at this time, going into January, going into February now, in fact, of a new year, my prediction for all of you watching this is that you're probably going to experience the same thing as you experienced in January. Chances are you can experience the same thing that you experienced in December of last year. That 2021 is most likely going to be pretty much the same 2020 was. And if you didn't like the results of 2020, you need to be paying very close attention to what I'm going to be talking to with you during this special CEO Power Hour. How many of you guys are catching this so far? What we focus on increase. I can see that coming through the chat. If you're catching this, let me know. Because friends, it's not about what's taught, it's what's caught that matters. I'm not here to entertain you. I want to help change you. And without change, there can never be more progress. Challenges lead to change. If you take the word challenge and you take out a couple letters, that's what's left. Change. And so everyone wants change. Everyone wants to change their finances. Everyone wants to change their physique. Everyone wants to transform some area of their life, changing a relationship the way that it may be. But the reality, friends, is you will never experience the change you want if you are scared of challenges. If you run away from challenges, when something goes a different direction than what you expect or want it to go, and you start to step back, you're not ready for change because you weren't ready to accept the challenge. You guys catching this? I'm going back to the conversation with my nephew last night, talking about the 2 skills that I believe that you need to learn to really thrive in this new economy. Number 1 was to learn how to sell. Number 2 is to learn more about how to leverage technology to help you sell. Now, I'm going to focus on the importance of sales right now, all right? And in your business, in network marketing, this is a different kind of selling than what you will typically find or think of. Most people who join our profession, most people who become brand ambassadors in Emrys, the first thing that they have to overcome, the first challenge they have to overcome is their fear of selling. Selling. As if it's a 4-letter word, all right? As if it is this dirty experience that they do not want to get engaged in. But friends, here's the thing. You are already involved in sales. You've been involved in sales from the time you were born. Let me prove it to you. When you were born, the first thing you probably did was cry. And not just a little cry, a huge cry. You wanted the world to know that you were upset, that you needed something, that people had to pay attention to you. You came into this world selling. Maybe you were hungry. Maybe you were thirsty. Maybe you were just upset and you wanted something to change. And so you had no problem with crying, with broadcasting to the world that you were dealing with a challenge and you were ready for a change. But what happens? As we get older and older, we're told, conditioned is actually the phrase we should use, conditioned to stop crying, to stop promoting ourselves, to stop telling the world what we want and what we expect of it, and to start to really find ourselves in just a very narrow box. Because if we don't fit into society's expectation of ourselves, now we find ourselves outside. Friends, I'll tell you something. Observe the masses and do the opposite. Because when you take the M off of masses, you can do the math yourself. You just find a bunch of people that really are not happy with their life, that are really upset with their situation. But because they've been programmed to live in this box, to only experience life in a certain way, they never push the boundaries of what's possible for them. Friends, we are all God's highest form of creation. I didn't say lowest. I didn't say semi-medium. I didn't say potentially highest. The word is highest form of creation. We can look at the planets. You can look at the solar system and be amazed at what we are blessed to be a part of every day and every moment. And we are the highest form of that creation. And yet so many of us walk through life accepting the limits that have been placed on us by other people's expectations. Somebody tonight is going to be freed of that if you really are here to not be entertained, but to be changed. How many of us go through life month after month, year after year, experiencing the same thing over and 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 over again, wanting change to happen, but are so scared of challenges? And for most people joining the network marketing profession, for most people getting involved in our business in Emrys, this is the first thing they start to realize, face on, because they run into objections. They run into a society that doesn't understand what it really looks like to be successful. We give out awards for a participation. We give out awards for just being in the room. But friends, the people that are the champions of this planet are not focusing on just participating. They're focusing on being the head and not the tail, which is what they were created to be. They're focusing on being at the head of the table and not sitting on the stool. My friends, tonight I want to talk to you about the power of execution. And we're all talking right now about sales because this concept of selling and it being a negative thing is holding way too many people back from experiencing abundance in their life. You are a natural born salesperson. All sales is a transference of belief. If you're taking notes, which I highly recommend that you do, you want to catch this. All that sales is a transference of belief. If you believe that the world is flat, all right, oxalayo, the world is round, but if you believe that the world is flat, then that is the perspective you're going to have around the world, and you're going to start to try to convince people about your viewpoint, because you cannot be convinced that it is a sphere. You only believe that it is flat. If you believe that money is hard to make, then the people that come in contact with you, they're going to find that that is not only your belief, but when they start to present a different belief to yours, you will not accept theirs. In fact, you will most likely try to convince them to see the world the way that you do. If you believe that prosperity is a good thing, then you will automatically influence other people to see the same way. The person with the highest level of belief is going to influence the most amount of people. And so sales is simply a transference of belief. But here, let's take it a little bit further. When you transfer your belief to someone else, they are going to exchange something to accept your belief. So sales starts with you transferring your belief to someone else, but it concludes really with someone else on the other side of that conversation exchanging something with you while they accept your belief. So what does it mean? It means that when you tell someone that this movie is really great, they should check it out, your belief transferred to them. They then have to take action on it. They then are going to watch the movie. When you tell someone that this product is incredible, you transferred your belief to someone else. Now, this is the part that most people forget. The word belief actually has two words in it, be and lie. Be and lie. When you put it together, you have belief. And so for most people, their beliefs are not actually something they choose. It's been chosen for them. And so they actually are literally being the lie. Now, when you go to transfer that belief to somebody else, if you don't think that what you have is really that great, it cannot be transferred to someone else, no matter how incredible it may be. You could be sitting in a gold mine. You could discover a gold mine and say, you know what, I want to share this with 3 of my friends. There's millions and millions of dollars in gold in this gold mine. I want to share it with 3 of my friends. But when you start to go talk to them, they start to say things like, oh, no, those are scams. A gold mine. How did you find a gold mine? You've seen the gold. You've experienced the gold yourself. But when you start to tell someone else, this is where you get pushback. And if your level of conviction is not high enough, you'll start to doubt that you actually found gold. Are you guys catching this? You will start to doubt that you actually found gold. Because now when someone says, oh, it's a scam, my uncle tried one of those things. Oh, nobody makes any money in those kinds of businesses. It's a pandemic. Why are you trying to build a business? You should be looking for a job. They are now transferring their belief onto you. And if their belief is higher than yours, they will influence you. That's all this is. It's about influence. Influence. It's not about convincing people to do something that is bad for them. That's the part that many people get tripped up about. So when they sign up in a business, when they get started as a brand ambassador in Emirates and they start to talk to people, all right, they start to carry their beliefs into that conversation. And so if you believe that it's expensive to get started in an Emirates business, even though we're talking about from $49, 600 Rand, you're talking about pennies at the end of the day compared to what it normally costs to start a business. And you talk to someone and they say, it's expensive. We say it's $7,500 and someone says it's expensive. But if your belief is, my goodness, look at the value that you're getting. This is the best way to start a business. You already get a website. You're already grandfathered into compensation structure, higher rate for the first 60 days. You're getting XYZ products. You are already winning and you fully believe that and resonate with that. Guess what? You're going to find more and more people are going to come to the level of your belief. But so many people in this business lower their conviction to try and fit in with everybody else. You don't win in business by fitting in. You win by standing out. By standing out. If people aren't thinking that you're crazy, you probably are not on the right path. There has to be a level of belief that borders on serious serious doubts about your level of mental acuity. People might look at you like you're crazy, and you sit back because you've been conditioned to think, wow, if someone thinks there's something wrong with the way that I think, I must be on the wrong path. You are either convicting and really leading the conversation of the people around you, or you are accepting their level of belief. Now, friends, I will tell you this. You have to be very careful about who you listen to. If you would not trade places with someone, why would you accept their opinion of you and your business? Most people are listening to people that don't have any money, that have not actually succeeded in business. Now, of course, you don't have to just have money to be successful, because there's a lot of different ways to count success. But in this conversation, friends, I'm talking specifically about being an entrepreneur and the level of income being a factor in that success. So who are you listening to? And for many people, they say, I have a coach. I have a mentor. I have someone that I'm paying attention to that's further down the path than me. Now, here's the part that I'm going to challenge you on. Just having someone to listen to doesn't mean that you actually have a mentor. Why? Because you actually have to participate in mentorship. I used to think early on in my career, man, if I could just find somebody, if I could just find someone that actually really had success, that was already winning at a high level. If I could just find someone that had earned millions of dollars, and if I could just get around that person. This is how I was thinking early on. Remember, guys, my first 3 years in network marketing, I made $50 combined. This kid from Africa came to the United States and wanted to make it big in the United States, struggled with my job, struggled with it, with my student loan debt for my education, got into network marketing, failed over and over again. And the reason I failed wasn't because I didn't have access to mentorship. I did. Wasn't because I didn't have access to great products. I did. Wasn't because I didn't have access to a great compensation plan. I did. It was because I was uncoachable. So I was saying to myself, if I can just get one-on-one time with the people that have the results that I'm looking for, man, if I can just get around them. At the time, I had barely made any, like $50 in business over 3 years. People didn't know that I existed. And I'm sitting here saying the missing piece is I just need to be around that successful person. And I had the right idea, but I had the wrong direction. Here's why. I was already receiving information from these mentors from afar, but I wasn't implementing it. I wasn't taking action on what it was that I was learning. And so I would tell myself, the missing piece in my business is, look at all those people that are winning, that are walking across stage. They have a personal relationship, quote unquote, with those mentors. That's the inside track. That's how they've been able to be successful. And so what I started to do was to convince myself that the reason why I wasn't successful was because I didn't have a personal connection with mentorship. But catch this. Here's where things got messed up. Though what I didn't realize at that time was the reason those people were walking across the stage was because they took the same information that I had access to and they took action on it. So instead of making excuses, they went out there and they did the phone calls. They listened to the same conference calls I was listening to and executed on what they were taught by those mentors. The difference was I was listening to the conference calls, showing up, and never actually really implementing what it was that I was learning. They would say, do A, and I would do Z. They would say, write a list of 200 people, and I would write 10 names. They would say, list your goals and read them every single day and look at them and really picture where it is that you're going to live. Go experience these things. And I would only write down my goal, and I would look at it maybe 3 times in a week, and then I'd forget about it. And so I was starting to create a story, a scenario in my mind that the reason why I wasn't winning was because I didn't have access to the real information. Friends, what happened was I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got so broke, so frustrated, so upside down in life that I was so challenged. There's the word that I shared with you guys at the beginning of our conversation. So challenged that I got to the point where I said, you know what? I have nothing left to lose. It was interesting. That was when I became coachable. Now I started to implement what I had been coached on for years. And my results dramatically changed. My mentors have said, you need to practice the presentation. You need to learn the language of this business. Practice how you're going to talk to people so that you get better at it. Just as if you were going to school to become a doctor, there's certain things you have to get better at. Your results are a reflection of the level of value that you're adding to the marketplace. So you need to become more valuable in order for your bank account to show that value. Are you guys catching this? If you're catching this, just raise your hand, guys. I want to see who's really locked in with me right now and catching this, because I'm not talking to you from a point of I want to entertain you and give you more information. I want to give you a gateway to transformation for you. And for most people, it's not a lack of information. It's a lack of execution. So you have access to mentorship in your business. That's where I was. I had access to mentorship in my business. But I was making excuses for why I wasn't winning, because I thought I need to have this person's cell phone number. I need to be able to ask them questions. I need to be able to talk to them all the time. And what I started to realize over time, when I started to lose my excuses and find my results, was that those mentors started to seek me out when my results started to increase. Because people that are further down the road than you are, they have a limited amount of time, and if they have any kind of real success in this business, they recognize their most valuable asset is their time, not their money. And so they're very picky about where they spend it. In fact, they only are wanting to spend time with those that they know are coachable, because that shows that they are going to be able to invest their time. And so this concept of I need to just be directly connected, I need to be able to get on that was what was blocking my success. And so when I started to implement what I had actually learned, guess what? Next thing I'm being invited into coaching conferences. Next thing I'm being able to hang out after events, having dinners with mentors, spending time at their homes. I remember one of my early mentors, Sherry, out in San Diego. She invited me to her house. I got a chance to walk through for the first time in my entire life what a multi-millionaire in network marketing's house looked like. This is back in 2005, 2006. I drove to San Diego, California, and got a chance to see Sherry Sharman's home in Carlsbad, California. It blew my mind, but I had earned access. See, if I had come to her house without having implementing certain basic principles that she had been teaching me, I would have gone there and I would have not been ready for that level of interaction. So here's what I want you to understand. When it comes to exploding your results, transforming your business, I've been talking about sales and I've been talking about execution. What I want to challenge you with right now is to take personal inventory of yourself, of last year, of this last month, and start to say to yourself, did I execute on the game plan? Now, if you have a strategy for your business and a challenge came up, guess what? Congratulations. That means that you are living life. That's what it looks like. You are going to constantly have challenges to your game plan. You might have to make some adjustments. You might have to make some shifts. But the core plan, did you execute it completely? So in school, we get graded on our ability to learn information, quote unquote, and regurgitate it on a test. And what happens is a lot of times people come into business with the same mentality. They think that all I need to do is just cram for the final exam. Just capture as much information like a library as possible. And that's what's going to cause me to be successful in business. And then they walk into business and they see people and they're saying, no man, this guy's didn't get the degrees that I have, or this person doesn't have the connections that I have, but how are they still winning? It's execution. Execution. And you don't get graded based on your level of how many conference calls did you show up for? How many presentations did you do? You get executed for how often and how effectively. This is how you know you're really on the right path. When you maintained your level of excitement even when the results didn't change. Some of you guys may not be ready for that. Because here's the thing. Everyone can get excited for 2 days. Everyone can get excited for 24 hours. Anyone can get excited for 24 hours. Can you stay excited for 2 months? That's not that challenging. But many people struggle with that. Take it a step further. Can you stay excited for 2 years? Can you stay excited when your business maybe doesn't move as fast as you hoped that it would? Can you stay excited when some people maybe quit your team and went to another company? Can you stay excited when some challenges came up in your personal life that took you off track? It's not about getting excited, it's staying excited. And why does that matter? Because the people around you are watching. They want to see if you really, really believe, because by their fruits ye shall know them. And so when you talk to someone today about your business, and you say, this is the one, this is the direction I'm going, and you're trying to have that conversation. Remember that word sales we talked about? You're trying to provide a certain level of belief to someone in your network, maybe someone from Facebook, someone from your phone, and saying, I want you to join my business. And if they don't join you today, that doesn't mean they're not paying attention to you and your path. Catch this, guys. They're looking to see if you really believe what you say you believe. If you really believe what you say you believe, because there are so many people that have so many ideas that never execute on it. In fact, some of the challenging aspects for many people when they get into network marketing, when they get into the Emrys business, is that who they were before, people still remember that. And they want to see, have you changed? So if you're the kind of person that would start something and quit, people remember that. And they want to see, are you going to stick with this thing? Are you going to grow? They're not questioning the business as much as they want to see if you really believe in where it is that you say you're going to go. And so you have the ability, friends, to dictate the level of success that you're able to accomplish in business and in life. You have the ability to dictate how big of a business you build by growing how big of a person you are. This is the one part that you can control. And that's why the word sales is simply an extension of your level of belief. Yes, there's some things you'd have to learn about how to communicate, how to overcome objections. Absolutely. But if you really believe in your business, if you really believe that you're going to be a multi-millionaire, you won't just throw the number 7 in the chat. You won't just raise your hands at an event and just say, yes, it's me, I receive. You're going to give. All right. I don't know if you guys caught this. If you guys are honest, I don't know if you guys caught this. It's not about you saying, I receive. It's about you giving. You want to go off there and build a R1,000,000 a year income. Let's talk about that. Let's focus on R1,000,000 a year as that's the benchmark. Something has to be given in order for you to receive the return. You don't make any money, for example, in owning stocks if you don't own any stocks. Some people telling me, oh my goodness, have you seen what's happening with certain cryptocurrencies and stuff? Yes, I own them, so I pay attention to that. Yes, I own Bitcoin. Yes, I do. Yes, I'm paying attention to it. And I'll ask them, do you own any? And a lot of times, no, I don't have any. So then I'll tell them, and I mean this kindly, well then it doesn't matter what the price is if you don't own any. It doesn't matter what's happening in CBD if you're not actually getting any market share. It doesn't matter what's happening at Emrys and the record-breaking growth they're experiencing if you aren't extending your market share on that. You guys catching this? It comes down to you giving value to the marketplace. You giving value, and then you receive the return. If you're looking for the return first, everyone wants the R1,000,000 a year income. Everyone wants the R1,000,000 house. Everyone wants the million, etc., etc., etc. But are you willing to become the person that can handle that? That means, are you willing to grow? And so your level of belief is going to dictate the level of the business that you build, not your level of luck. You can get lucky in network marketing. I know a lot of people that have gotten lucky in network marketing. If that is your game plan, you'll never see Dubai. You won't make it just if your game plan is, I want to get wealthy by getting lucky. Here's how you make luck work in your favor, is you work so hard that you get lucky. In fact, people will start to say, they're so lucky. They got in Emrys at the very beginning and that's why they're successful. And you will say to them, no. There were many people that got in Emrys at the beginning, but they didn't see the same vision that I saw. And they didn't put in the amount of time that I put in. They didn't put the kind of effort to learn this business, to grow as a person. That's why they didn't get the same kind of results. It's not enough to be at the same place at the right time, and you have to be the right person. Are you guys catching this? I want to see from you in the chat if this is making sense to you guys. And for those of you that are checking out on Instagram, I see you guys. I'm over here on Zoom. If you just tuned in, I'm doing a quick CEO Power Hour. I wanted to share some content with our leaders that are tuning in live right now via Zoom, and I thought I would go live on Instagram as well. If you guys are catching some value, say hello. For those of you watching on Zoom, I want to make sure that you guys are catching this. We're talking about the power of execution. The power of execution. The power of execution. And within that, we're talking about one of the major challenges that most people have, which is their challenge when they think about sales. So they don't execute on the game plan for many times because they have a deep-seated subconscious negative experience about the concept of selling something. And I'm telling you guys that when you really believe in something, it won't be sales for you. You're not trying to convince anyone because you don't care whether they join you or not. It is what it is. You already know you're going vice president with or without them. You're not sitting around trying to convince somebody, but you are focused on becoming a vice president. Friends, you don't become a millionaire just when the money hits your bank account. You become a millionaire here first, and then your bank account reflects who you are here. Do you guys catch this? You become a millionaire first before the bank balance actually represents that. Most people try to do it the other way. They say, let me get the money in the bank account and then I'm going to become a millionaire. But it doesn't happen that way. In fact, if you pay any attention to the lottery and how many people win the lottery and what happens to them once they win the lottery, most people who win the lottery end up worse off financially than they were before they won the lottery. 90+% of people who win the lottery go broke. 90+%. Here's why. Is because for most people who win the lottery, millions and millions, tens, hundreds of millions of rands, they were not 100 million rand person in their mind before it happened. And so that lightning event, that money suddenly striking their bank account, they didn't know what to do with it. The challenge that they were supposed to go through, the ups and downs, the growth experience that you're supposed to grow through. Remember, friends, it's not just what you go through. It's what you grow through that's going to guide you to where it is that you want to get to. And so for many people who win the lottery, they didn't have that same kind of experience as someone who has built an income of 100 million rand from scratch. The person that these kinds of people have to become gets exposed when the money shows up. There are a lot of people that have come into network marketing and have made big money and have blown it all because they got lucky. Maybe they got into the right time in the right place and told a few friends and some luck happened in their case. They struck the network marketing lottery. And then they ended up worse off after that. Friends, I'm talking to you from a place of friendship, but I'm also talking to you from a place of I want to see growth happening for you. If your game plan is I'm going to get lucky and that's how I'm going to strike it rich, not going to work that way for you. But if your game plan is I'm going to grow and I'm going to focus every single day on getting better and better and better and better at giving. This is the part we're going to start to conclude our conversation about, my friends, on giving. When you're selling, most people think that means you're taking from something from somebody. It means that, oh, someone gave me money and I gave them something of lesser value than the money that they gave me. And so subconsciously, for most people, that's something they don't want to do. I don't want to do that. I want to have a fair exchange. In fact, I want to give you more value than the money that you give me. That's how you win. If you focus on providing more value for someone than the money that they give you. A sale happens when the person buying something decides that the value they're getting is worth more to them than the money they have in their account. How many of you, and don't raise your hand if this is you, but I know that this is more people than will ever admit it. How many of you have ever bought something before that you cannot afford? How many of you have ever bought something before that you cannot afford? All of us have done that before. Maybe ladies, maybe it was a pair of shoes that you just couldn't see yourself living without. Maybe it's a car. By the way, if you're buying a car and you're getting a car note, and a lot of people like to celebrate people for buying cars. One of the things you may not realize is that you lose 25+% of the value of that vehicle the moment you drive it off from the car dealership. And so if you took a loan on that car, your loan is here. Your loan is increasing with its interest, all right? the car value is decreasing. And so many people, especially in our culture from South Africa, so many of us celebrate people who are buying cars, who are going in debt, who are actually ending up worse off financially from purchasing that vehicle. And we celebrate those people as if they're actually winning. Now, friends, what about if we could celebrate people who start businesses, who are taking risks, the same way we celebrate people who are getting in debt to purchase vehicles that are losing value daily? What would happen? But if you're sitting back and waiting for people, and if you're surprised, man, my family isn't really supporting my business. My family, they're not really getting, my friends aren't really getting this. That's how it is. Remember, the masses are going one separate direction. From birth, we've been programmed to fit ourselves in a certain box. But the only way that you'll find success is by stepping outside of that box. You will never become successful in your comfort zone. That comfort zone, for most people, has been created by the environment, the family, the friends, and connections that are around them. And so when you take a step away from that environment, this is when things start to get challenging. You start to realize, wait a second, I didn't expect people to say no to my business. I didn't expect people to say I'm going to sign up month end and not sign up. I didn't expect certain things to happen. And then these challenges that show up for you, you start to think that they are signs that you're going the wrong direction. But I'm here to let you know, friends, without challenge, there's no change. Without challenge, there's no change. And I'm proud of you for taking the step away from the masses, the direction that everyone is going, and saying, you know what, that doesn't make sense. Working 40 hours a week, getting paid once a month for 40 years of my life to retire on 40% of the income that I couldn't even survive on when I was working full time. That doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense. And you're looking at this moment, you're looking around the world and recognizing this massive shift that is happening, where more millionaires than ever are being created. More billionaires are seeing their wealth go up in the same season. And so you're looking for a way, for your moment, for your breakthrough moment. And I'm letting you know right here, here's what it comes down to, is execution. Execution. Not necessarily more information. Most people already have all the information they need to win in life. The difference is they're not taking action on that information. There's probably a book in your house that has all the secrets to success that you haven't actually read it. Maybe there's an audio that you've got. For example, you're listening to this live right now, guys, on Zoom. For those of you watching on Instagram, you have access to information. But information alone doesn't lead to transformation. Execution leads to transformation. And for most people in our industry, for most people in this space, the reason why they have a hard time selling is because their level of belief is here. They let other people's certainty, other people's belief become their reality. Friends, you want to become a pace setter in your business. It's time for you to set the standard. It's time for you to say, no, this is where I'm going. And it's okay if you don't see that. But this is where I'm going. Either you'll see it today or you'll see it tomorrow or you'll see it in a year. When you see it, it will be obvious. But it's obvious for me right now. Some people are waiting to go executive before they start really putting together a list of people. Some people are waiting to go executive before they get active with 80 PCV in their business. Guys, in our compensation plan, you know that you can be active with 40. Yes, you can be active. Absolutely. To go to one-star executive and beyond, you need to have at least 80 PCV, 80 personal commissionable volume. This week and the previous 4 weeks combined. 80 comes from your purchases you make, or the purchases your customers make, or a combination of the two. So here's the question I have for you. Between January, February, and March, first 90 days of this year, what is your goal for your business? What rank do you want to accomplish in your business? 1-star executive, 2-star executive, 3-star, what rank director? What rank are you aiming for? And then here's how we can tell if you're really executing. Let's look at your back office right now. Guys, I'm coming for you. I'm not coming to you. I'm coming for you. I come in love, but I have to step on some toes to help you to move a little bit so that you experience the change that challenge is supposed to guide you to. All right? So you need to check your back office. If someone says, I want to go 2-star executive. All right? Let's take a look at your back office right now. Do you have 80 PCV right now? If you do, congratulations. Because you cannot go to a fireplace and tell the fireplace, give me heat and then I'll give you wood. You cannot go to the fireplace and say, give me warmth in the middle of load shedding if you don't actually put petrol and some wood inside the fireplace yourself. You have to start the fire before you get the return. So you show your level of belief by what it is that you actually do. And so if you know that you're going director, why would you wait until you go executive to have 80? You would have 80 now because you know that it's already done. You've already seen it so clearly in your mind that you already know. So in your mind, why would I have less than 80 PCV at any moment? I need to be at least 80 all the time. That's where you start to execute, and that's where you start to separate yourself from the masses, because most people don't think like that. Most people are waiting for a sign before they take action. Most people are waiting for someone to join their business who's more excited than them before they get excited about their business. But doing what most people does is going to get you the results that most people have. And most people don't have the results that I know that every single one of you truly, truly want in your life. Is this making sense? I want to see some hands. Are you guys catching this? Let me know that you guys are catching this. All right? Let's see. Where are those hands? We're talking about execution. We're not talking about increasing information. I'm going to close with this. So as I'm talking to you, you are using maybe your cell phone, maybe you're using an iPad, maybe you're using your computer. Somehow you're logged into something called the internet. I remember the day that we got an internet connection. I was living in a place called Bethel College, just outside Butterworth in the Eastern Cape. And I remember at my father's office, they had an internet connection and they had a computer. So for those of you that are not part of my generation or younger, this is going to be really funny for you. But for those of you who remember, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the internet connection was a cable you had to plug into your computer, and it cost, every second cost. So I couldn't just get on the internet just whatever I wanted to just do whatever. And there weren't that many websites back then either. And whenever you'd have to dial into your computer, and it was like dialing a phone number, and the modem would make this strange noise. You guys remember that noise? You can go on YouTube and see old internet modem connection, and they will play the audio for you can hear it. And it would actually sound like aliens trying to talk to each other. You guys remember this? And that would be the experience of going online. And if you wanted to play a song, because the reason I was going online was because I wanted to download music. I couldn't get all the trouble went in. It wasn't playing all the songs that I wanted to hear. So I was trying to get online to download music. That was my whole goal with the internet. All right. At the same time, this is right around the time when cell phones were starting to come out too. I had a Nokia 3310. I don't know how many of you guys remember these Nokia 3310s. And my Nokia had a game that I used to play. It was Snake. Up, down. I had no idea the power that I had in my hands right then. No. Operating system was limited because it had not gotten through the development yet. Now, the only thing that we could do with these phones back then was play little games, make phone calls, and if you wanted to SMS someone, you had to press the buttons multiple times to get different letters, and so they were very basic devices. But they had the computing power to do so much more. Catch this, my friends. They had the computing power to do so much more. The challenge was the programming inside of these phones was so limited. So they were not limited by the power of the phone. They were limited by their programming. Catch this. Your mind, that mind that sits between the 6 inches, that space that takes up our heads, has the most powerful computer ever known to man. Everything that's around us was created. The technology that you see, the chair that I'm sitting in, the designs of these jerseys behind me, this space, this house that I live in, was all designed by someone. Someone's idea created this that we all live in. And in the middle of a pandemic, with so much turmoil going around, with so much wealth being transferred, you're sitting in this moment of unprecedented opportunity. And we're sitting here, we didn't dial up an internet connection and listen to these aliens talk to be able to get online. Back then you couldn't even watch video online. You could only get some audio and maybe see some pictures, and it would take half an hour for a picture to load. And we're sitting in this moment of unprecedented opportunity with all these incredible tools around us. Unlimited knowledge. Unlimited knowledge. You can Google anything and find the answer. If you want to figure out how to fix a flat tire, if you want to learn how to make a boat, whatever it is you want to learn how to do, you at the press of a few buttons on your phone and an internet connection can find the answer to so much. My wife's garden that she's been building, she's figured out how to garden because of the internet, because of looking at things. Guys, we're connected right now through the internet, learning from each other. And here's what I want to ask you. Just like that Nokia 3310 that had all the power, more power than the rocket that took man to the moon for the first time, but it had limited programming. Just like that Nokia 3310 that had all that power, our minds have even more power, an unlimited amount of power. The thing that holds so many people back, though, is the programming. Is the beliefs that they have accepted about themselves and what's possible for them. And those beliefs lead to habits. Those habits lead to action, because those actions that come from the beliefs done enough times create habits. And those habits decide what your life looks like. It's not about making a huge change in your life. It's about making some small adjustments and doing them consistently day in and day out until success becomes a habit, because failure is a habit. So we sit in this unprecedented time with unlimited knowledge, but we don't necessarily see unlimited results for every single person who has access to the same information, because not everyone takes action. The key is not more knowledge. The key is more execution. Guys, that's our time for today. Hopefully this added value to your life. I'm excited for your future. I'm excited for our close of January, another record-breaking month in the business. Let's continue to grow. And as we grow individually, your business grows. As you learn new skill sets, as you start to adapt new thought processes, you start to create new habits that serve you, you'll start to find that when you become more, you'll do more. And as a result, you'll have more. That's our chat for today, my friends. Until we talk again, my challenge to all of us, as always, is to dream and then find a way. God bless, guys. Take care. Cheers.